Hello there, greetings, or in Burmese, Mingalaba. This is Kenneth Wong, a Burmese American writer and Burmese language instructor. In this episode, I'll teach you how to use the subject and object tags. They are written as ga and go, but often they are pronounced ga and go. For my lesson today, I made up two characters. Let me first introduce you to Jason and Samantha. One of them is about to make a phone call to the other. The word for phone in Burmese is, well, it's phone. In Burmese pronunciation, it might be pone, but actually, the English word phone has become a loan word in Burmese, so phone is quite sufficient. The verb to connect is hset. So to make a phone call or to connect by phone is, in Burmese, phone hset. The last particle, de, is the affirmative sentence end particle for this statement. So phone hset is how you say to connect by phone or to make a phone call. If you say Jason Samantha phone hset, as shown here, as a Burmese sentence, it's a very confusing one. In English, in general, the verb comes between the subject and the object, and the one that comes before the verb is usually the subject. The one doing the action, the one that comes after the verb is usually the object, the one receiving the action. For example, Jason phoned Samantha, or Jason called Samantha. But in Burmese, the verb comes at the very end of the sentence, and the order of the two nouns, who comes first and who comes later, is not a surefire way to decide who is the subject and who is the object. This is a perfect example where you need to add subject and object tags for clarity. If Jason is making the call, you have to mark Jason with the subject tag ga, and it comes after the name Jason. So the subject becomes Jason ga. Since Samantha is receiving the call, she's the object, so you mark her with the object tag go. So Samantha becomes Samantha go. The proper way to say what you want to say, the proper way to say Jason called Samantha in Burmese is then Jason ga Samantha go phone hset. One more time, Jason ga Samantha go phone hset. In fast, normal, everyday speak, the pronunciation of the subject and the object tag ga and go may further morph into a and o. So you might just hear the sentence above as Jason a Samantha o phone hset. One more time, Jason a Samantha o phone hset. Well, that clears up that Jason is the subject making the call, Samantha is the object receiving the call. If it were the reverse, you say Samantha ga Jason go phone hset. Samantha ga Jason go phone hset. Speaking quickly, it will be Samantha a Jason o phone hset. Samantha a Jason o phone hset. But here's the interesting thing. With this Burmese tagging system, you can actually flip-flop the order of the two nouns and say exactly the same thing to say Samantha called Jason. You can say Jason go Samantha ga phone hset. Jason go Samantha ga phone hset, or Jason o Samantha a phone hset. So these two sentences you're looking at here both mean exactly the same thing, even though the order of the two nouns are flip-flop. Notice though that in both sentences the subject Samantha is marked with ga and the object Jason is marked with go. That is why it really doesn't matter whether you say Samantha ga Jason go or Jason go Samantha ga. This is not the same as the English passive voice, by the way. Burmese verbs don't change shape into a different version to indicate who's receiving the action. Its grammar system uses subject and object tags to indicate who's doing the action. It doesn't really rely on two different types of verbs to show active or passive mode. For another example, let's assume romance blossoms between Jason and Samantha. Suppose one is developing feelings for the other. To love someone in Burmese is chit. Chit is the main verb, to fall in love. One more time, it's pronounced chit. De is the affirmative sentence end. So chit is how you say to love someone. Just like the phone call situation, if you say Jason Samantha chit, nobody knows if Jason is falling for Samantha or Samantha is falling for Jason. Again, it's a situation that demands subject and object tags for clarity. If Jason is the one falling for Samantha, then you should say Jason ga Samantha go chit. Jason가 Samantha고 chit. Spoken quickly, it is Jason아 Samanthao chit. The same thing may be also stated as Samanthago Jason가 chit or Samanthao Jason아 chit. Just like before, these two statements, despite the flip-flopped order of the two nouns, mean exactly the same thing because the tags are properly placed behind the names. Samantha go Jason ga chit or Samantha o Jason a chit means exactly the same as Jason ga Samantha go chit or Jason a Samantha o chit. It means Jason loves Samantha. Nothing is mentioned about how Samantha feels about Jason. Okay, let's take a look at another scenario. Now, while waiting for a response from Samantha, Jason is going to drink coffee. Coffee is also a loan word in Burmese, so it might be pronounced kopi in Burmese pronunciation, but it's essentially coffee. The verb to drink is thauk. One more time, is thauk. To say drink coffee, you say coffee thaute. One more time, coffee thaute or kopi thaute in Burmese pronunciation. So following the rules above you have learned, you might be inclined to say Jason ga coffee go thaute. Jason ga coffee go thaute. Well, except in this situation, native Burmese speakers don't usually use subject and object tags. That is because common sense is enough to make it clear that Jason is the one drinking coffee. There's no way the coffee can drink Jason. Unless, of course, it's some kind of strange horror movie that involves a coffee monster that can swallow up people. So, in this situation, actually, Jason coffee thaute is quite enough. Tags are not necessary. One more time. Jason coffee thaute is quite enough. Without subject and object tags, however, it's important to keep the coffee and the verb thauk as close as possible for clarity, since that's the action performed on that item. So in this instance, saying coffee Jason thaute is not recommended. Let's say now that Jason's love interest Samantha is going to Paris. Paris is usually written paye in Burmese, but it's pronounced Paris or something close to it. The verb to go is thwa. In this case, we should end the sentence with future affirmative particle me, because we want to say Samantha is going to Paris. It hasn't happened yet. Samantha will go to Paris. So, Paris thwa me. Someone will go to Paris. Again, if you think, Samantha is the subject of Samantha ga, Paris is the object of Paris go, then you arrive at Samantha ga Paris go thwa me. If you say it like that, you're not technically wrong, but you sound overly correct and unnatural. Just like before, it only makes sense for Samantha to go to Paris. Paris cannot really go to Samantha. So Samantha Paris thwa me. Or one more time, Samantha Paris thwa me is quite sufficient. The subject and object tags are important in sentences that involve two nouns, but it's also equally important to develop an instinct to know when you don't need to use them and you can skip them. The general rule is, if both of your nouns are capable of doing the action mentioned in your verb, you may need to use subject and object tags, or at least one, the object tag, to clear up who is doing the action and who is receiving it. Is Jason making the call or Samantha? Both are capable of doing that, so you should use subject and object tags to clear things up. Is Jason falling for Samantha or the other way around? Both are possibilities. You have to mark the nouns with subject and object tags. But if logic tells you that only one noun can do the action and not the other way around, as in the case with Jason drinking coffee or Samantha going to Paris, you can safely skip the subject and object tags. In fact, I'd encourage you to do it because if you don't, you'd sound very unnatural. Well, I hope Jason gets a favorable answer from Samantha so he can join her in Paris for a romantic date. Until next time, this is Kenneth Wong saying, Nau matui me, see you later.